We recently finished covering the Genso Suikoden short story collection books, and you guys seem to really enjoy those, so now it's time to start covering the Suikoden novels. Suikoden 1, 2, 4, and 5 all received novelizations, and while the core story is the same, the novels do contain many differences from the games. Some brand new scenes were added, more dialogue was added, some of the game scenes were removed and were only referenced with a quick summary. Other scenes were heavily altered or had characters in different roles to save time and to help the story flow better. One such difference in the Suikoden 1 Soul Eater novel is the inclusion of a prologue chapter that focused on Leknaat and Luc, which took place right before the game begins, which I'll be covering in this video. By the way, I recently received a message from someone who offered to help with translating all of the Suikoden novels to help make these videos. They wish to remain anonymous, but I just want to give that person a big thank you because without their help it would have taken me a very long time before I got around to starting to cover these novels. Prologue: Revelation of the Stars. The story opens with Leknaat standing atop Magician's Tower, gazing at the stars with both hands extended towards the heavens. Looking up at the night sky filled with countless shining stars, she took a deep breath and calmed her mind. Listening intently, she relinquished her consciousness to the flickering stars. Though an incident in the past had left her blind, whenever she faced the night sky, she was always able to hear the whisper of the stars. "O stars grown so distant, O shining stars." As Leknaat performed the Starseer ritual, she sensed something was different. The noise of the ocean waves had ceased, silent under the heavy weight of the night, and she could barely sense the presence of the Lorimar Mountains, which seemed as if they were imprisoned behind a wall of darkness. At the same time, she perceived the light of countless stars pouring down from the night sky above, and she also sensed the depth of the night now sweeping the land. In astrology, it's an ill omen when heaven and earth are clearly separated between light and dark. Exhaling deeply, quelling her fears of premonition, Leknaat looked up to the stars once more. "O stars, ever harbouring the truth of the world, reveal to me the future of this world, oh." Suddenly feeling that something was calling to her, Leknaat turned her body inland towards Gregminster, the capital of the Scarlet Moon Empire, where she sensed the existence of two brightly shining stars. Leknaat sensed a brilliant light emanating from one of the two stars. She perceived that that star shone a brilliant gold, and she sensed that the other burned with an intense red light as if it were a flame. She knew the shining golden star represented the Emperor's influence, but the star that shone red hadn't even existed in the night sky until it suddenly revealed itself just now. "The Tenkai star," she said to herself. The very moment she spoke, the red star emitted a single bright flash of light. Immediately after, it began to flicker intermittently as if it was sending a signal to the other stars. "It couldn't be, it's..." Leknaat gasped involuntarily. Stars began appearing one after another in response to the red star. At first they appeared around the red star, but then more appeared above the large forest to the south, and then came a strong light from the west, breaking the wall of darkness. The stars responded to the red star, shining as if to compete with the brightness of the two stars that had first appeared. These three phenomena could mean only one thing. Leknaat, processing the flickering of the stars, murmured to herself, "I see, so the stars have finally begun to move." She looked up at the sky and expressed her thanks to the stars for their revelations, and with that, the Starseer ceremony was over. As if waiting for the ceremony to end, a young voice dripping with prickly sarcasm spoke to Leknaat from beyond the darkness, asking her how it went. It was the voice of Luc, Leknaat's apprentice. He made his way up to the top of the tower and stood next to her. He continued to speak in a way that held just the barest hint of contempt. He told her to hurry up and write the report, as the Empire is fretting in the most tiresome way that the astral predications still aren't ready, and that their arrogant pride has gotten so bad he's been tempted to fling them to the ends of the ocean with his wind magic. Leknaat gently admonished him and told him that he needs to control his temper. She faced him in silence for a moment before telling him that she received the astral predications, but she needs time. She then told Luc that a great struggle will soon cover this land due to the foolishness of humans. Luc asked her if that's what the stars foretold tonight. Leknaat responded they did, that the struggle is already brewing. After a short pause, she then asked Luc how he'd changed recently. Luc commented that his rune feels different than usual. Struggling for words to describe what he meant, he then told her that his rune feels like it's throbbing. Luc raised his hand and gazed at the back of it. There shone the true wind rune, one of the 27 true runes. Leknaat told him the rune is reacting. In a confused tone, Luc asked her what it was reacting to. Leknaat responded that the rune is reacting to that which is in the process of destroying the balance. That he who bears the true wind rune and herself who bears the back half of the gate rune are involved in this struggle. Luc asked if there was no way of avoiding it, as he doesn't want to get dragged into anything bothersome. To Luc's complaints, Leknaat quietly declared that it was never avoidable, as the runes are a symbol of the larger forces that govern their world, and when that power is awoken by war, none can avoid it. She then took Luc's hand that bore the rune and told him that it's his destiny to participate in this battle, as he bears the Tenkan star, one of the stars of destiny. Luc sighed as he turned to look towards Gregminster. He asked Leknaat what should he tell the Empire, that a war about runes has broken out and Lord Luc is reporting for duty. Leknaat smiled at Luc's joke and turned to face Gregminster. She told him it won't be necessary, as the fools who hold the power of the Empire cannot stop this war, and telling them would only invite chaos. She then told him that those caught up in the flow of fate must choose their own path, no matter how hard the choice may be. Luc said he understands, that he'll write up and prepare an unalarming report. He then let out a sigh and looked up at Leknaat. He asked her what in the world are runes anyway, or stars of destiny, and if that power is leading them to war, is it the runes who are making or allowing them to do so? Leknaat was surprised to hear Luc ask these questions. Considering Luc's personality, she expected him to continue looking at the world through his disillusioned eyes until the bitter end, but his words just now had a serious tone that she had never heard from him before. She didn't know what caused this sudden change in him, but wanted to answer his questions. She told him that to speak of the will of the runes is to speak of the truth of the world, but she's sorry to say that even she doesn't fully understand it. Luc responded, "Is that so?" Leknaat then added that each of the 27 true runes represent either chaos or order, and they each contribute to the balance of the whole. Luc asked, "The original ideal balance?" Leknaat responded, "That's right. And when that balance is upset, the world shifts from order to chaos, and the 108 stars of destiny exist to maintain that equilibrium." She then let go of Luc's hand and told him to look there as she pointed at the red star. She asked him if he can see the red star and told him that it's the fate of the stars of destiny to gather together to fight under that Tenkai star, to change the world and to change the balance from chaos to order. They looked up together at the Tenkai star in the night sky. However, as they watched, the other stars of destiny flickered out one by one. The Starseer ceremony was over, and the stars were returning to their original positions. Luc snickered when the final star of destiny winked out. Leknaat asked him if something was the matter, and Luc responded, "It's nothing, just..." He then turned his back on Leknaat and began walking towards the stairs as he commented how troublesome this all is. As Luc was disappearing into the darkness, Leknaat said to him, "May you be guided to the correct path." As Luc descended the tower, he responded from the darkness, saying that he'll be fine and she doesn't need to worry about him. Leknaat then looked up to the night sky and once more offered her thanks for the revelations the stars had given her. She then offered her usual wordless prayer to the heavens. "Please lead everyone along the correct path." And that's the prologue chapter. It's a scene that's exclusive to the novel, and it's something that the vast majority of you may not have read, seen or heard before. So I haven't decided exactly how I want to cover the novels yet, as they're a massive undertaking. These novels are incredibly long, with each game's novelisation being roughly the same length as every short story book combined. If I was to make in-depth coverings of each book like I did with the short stories, you'd be looking at nearly 8-hour-long videos for each game's novel. Even dividing that up into videos covering the novels chapter by chapter would be a lot of work and would take a very long time. Going forward, I might only provide a summary of each chapter. Maybe I'll just make an in-depth video per novel explaining the differences between the books and the games. Or maybe I will cover them in their entirety chapter by chapter like how I covered this chapter. It really depends on what you guys want. If you guys have any suggestions or preferences on how you want the books to be covered, do let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.